So, welcome to the AREALM Dungeon Master Interview. Happy to have you here.
Thanks for having me. Good to be
No
here.
worries. So we'll just jump right into the first question. So the first question is, how long have you been a dungeon master, and how did you get into D&D in the first place?
So I've been a DM for about 2.5 years as of now,
Mm-hmm.
and my journey into D&D is a little bit of a treacherous road. I've always wanted to play it since I was young, but
Mm-hmm.
never had the chance to. And then ages ago, an old colleague on Xbox was like, "Hey, I'll DM a game for you guys," and it was terrible. It wasn't a great DM, but it was with my friends, so we still had some fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get to truly play until like a month after I had graduated from high school. And a new friend I had met in person DM'd a game for all of us. And since then, which was about 2018, I've been in love with D&D. It's turned into my favorite passion. And
Mm-hmm.
I became a DM a few months later for my own game for them all.
Okay, cool. And the second question is kind of related, but what is your favorite thing about being a dungeon master?
My favorite thing about being a dungeon master is I'm a big writer and I love creating and telling stories. And so the idea that I can not only make my own stories and characters, but I can share them with people that I care about or just other people interested in the same art, and they have an impact on it all. Because as any DM knows, you make a plan and your players throw it out the window and set it on fire. So it's always fun just building the base work for it, and just people you enjoy spending time with, you create stories and memories with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I'm not still a part of that friend group, I still have vivid D&D memories with the first group I played D&D with, and
Mm-hmm.
it's part of that, just growing to love these characters and this world with other people. It's unlike anything you can do anywhere else, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. And um, have you been like a player? What kind of differences are there in terms of being a player versus being a dungeon master for you?
Being the DM does have like you said, just being able to write the story and
Mm-hmm.
what I love building the world and all that. And I think my favorite thing about being a DM is giving players like that moment of I'm awesome, that was awesome, or that was so cool, or
Mm-hmm.
being able to touch them emotionally. I'll never forget the time I was able to make players cry for the first time because something went. I managed to write characters and the story really well, but as much as I love it, when you're a player, it's a whole new experience because
Yeah.
you immerse yourself into your character. My first ever character, a dragonborn fighter named Elcor.
Mm-hmm.
I loved playing as him, and you grow attached to these characters because they kind of become part of you for a
Mm-hmm.
while.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And I'll always love being a DM because I love giving other people those experiences. But
Mm-hmm.
I will always love just being a player and growing attached to and just connecting with a character that I get to become for a while.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And so what is your favorite game and version?
Unfortunately, as of now, I've only gotten to play D&D 5e.
Okay.
I do want to expand and play more like Pathfinder, or I know there are some Star Wars versions out there, as
Mm-hmm.
well as like some Wild West ones. I want to expand and try these out more. I just need to find the groups that I can play with and the means to, especially since, quarantine and COVID has really made it
Yeah.
difficult to go out to just any old game group and just meet new people.
Mm-hmm. For sure. It's a lot harder with COVID.
Oh, yeah.
So this is going to be our last question, actually. But what advice would you give someone who wants to start DMing but doesn't really know how to, or is kind of feel fearful to start?
It is all about failure. Let me tell you that. You are not going to grow unless you fail. Your first
Mhm.
ever session, it's not going to be that great. And that's okay because you'll still enjoy it and have fun if it's with the right people. But it's not going to be anything insane. You're not going to make them cry. You're not going to invest them super heavily, possibly. You're going to
Mhm.
mess up on some new rules that you weren't aware of. Or a player's going to do something that completely throws your plan out the window,
Mhm.
and that's okay. We don't get better if we don't learn these mistakes. It's been 3 to 4 years now, and I'm still learning new rules about D&D and trying to grow my knowledge. I'm still making mistakes when it comes to character voices, or sometimes you accidentally create a plot hole that you have to later retcon and fix.
Mm-hmm.
You're never going to be perfect, but it's all about just improving and making sure you take that first step, because it is so worth it once you start getting the swing of things and just having a blast.
Mm-hmm. All right. So that's really the end of the questions. So thank you for joining us. Glad to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. This was a lot of
Yeah.
fun.